今いろいろと特に東京大学のケースで、日本のですね大学が、実際にこのベンチャーインキュベーションしているお話をお伺いいたしましたけれども、ランドバーグさん、カリフォルニアナノテクシステムインスティテュートでもそういうことやってらっしゃると思うんですけど、私がちょっとランドバーグさんからお聞きしましたところは、カリフォルニアナノテクの場合は、科学を、どういうんですか横断的に一緒に、例えば医学だとか物理だとかそういうものもですね、先生方が一緒になってなんかお仕事なさっていろんな研究もなさっていると聞いてますし、それからまたインキュベーションもいろいろなさっているというふうにお伺いしているんですけども、その点について何かご紹介いただけますでしょうか。CNA サイド。
Well, let me explain a little bit about the physical nature of UCLA. We are an urban campus, and we're surrounded by some of the most expensive residential property in the world. Bel Air, Beverly Hills, I'm sure you've heard of some of these places. What that means is that we're not able to expand, so we don't have the ability to create facilities or science parks where we can do incubation in facilities off the campus. So we have to incubate on the campus. So what we have done in the case of CNSI, the California Nanosystems Institute, is that we have taken a portion of our building, and as I said, it's 17,000 square meters, and we have devoted that to areas which can be used for the incubation of startup companies. We have space for approximately, I think, 7 to 8 companies. And this has some very good advantages because the technology that has developed at CNSI and at UCLA and that has been patented and then is the basis for a startup company that's being incubated, the people who are behind the company have access to the inventor who is right there on the campus. They also have access to the instrumentation and the equipment to further develop the technology and commercialize it. So they have a very nice arrangement where the basic science and the commercialization can work together. So we currently have approximately 4 or 5 companies that are being incubated. We have one which just recently left, which was I think will be a great success. It's called Nano H2O, and it uses nanotechnology to develop membranes for water filtration. This will revolutionize the ability to desalinate water in third world countries and elsewhere. We took an equity holding in this company, so we're quite interested in its success. And we incubated it for 2 years, and then it moved off. So we now have, as I said, we have about 3 or 4 other companies in a variety of different areas because in our building we do basic science, nanoscience research in medicine and in materials and electronics. So one of the companies is dealing with biosensors. We have a company dealing with drug delivery and so on. So we have advantages, I think, as I said, by having the incubation right on the campus. The other thing I do want to point out is that the real driver, I think, behind innovation in technology in the United States has been the university. And if you look at the 2 major areas of commercialization and startup, they're all located near universities. Silicon Valley, obviously, it's Stanford and then Berkeley. In the Boston area, it's a variety of places, but it's Harvard and MIT and Boston University. And I think that in Stan's case, you're close to Caltech. So universities are very, very important, and I think that what you're attempting to achieve in this area here is going to be, the success is going to be dependent on the powerhouse of technical innovation represented by the universities.
その場合に先ほどちょっと、ランドバーグさん触れられましたけど、この技術とですね、この事業化ということ、全くこうスキルの違う分野ですけども、これはどういうふうな形で解決なさってるんでしょうか。ランドバーグさんにちょっとすみません。もう
Well, that's a good question. Usually in the United States, venture capitalists, who come in with money, usually don't supply just money. What they want to supply is the the knowledge of markets, so they know whether or not what is being developed, there is a market for it. They are able to provide advice on how to create management teams. They're able to provide all the necessary advice which is needed to get a piece of research out of the lab and into the marketplace. So we rely very heavily on the venture capital community, in some cases angel contributions, but in other cases formal venture capital companies. Without that kind of support, it would be impossible to move the basic research out of the lab and into the marketplace. Money itself is not the question. The question is what comes with the money. And it has to be advice, and it has to be support, and it has to be the ability to recognize the value of the basic research and then commercialize it. So I would say to answer that question, it's not the faculty, it's not the people in the labs who are doing the commercialization, it's the people from outside. It's the venture capitalists and those who have the experience in creating new companies. So that's really what we rely upon. So we do everything possible to give exposure to the investment community of our technology, to invite them to examine what we're doing and to look at the commercial potentials of our research. Now, in the Silicon Valley, as perhaps many of you know, 30% of all the venture capital money in the world is being managed along a stretch of highway called Sand Hill Road, which is just about a half a mile in length. And it's just adjacent to Stanford University. So Stanford University does not need a tech transfer office because everything that goes on in that university is being observed by venture capitalists. So that they have solved that problem. Other universities like UCLA does not have that kind of community. They have it in Boston to some extent. They have it in Austin a little bit, but it's very unusual. So that's what you really need to create if you want to duplicate the Silicon Valley, is that very savvy venture capital community that has money but has the technical ability to create companies. And I might add, I think that you have potentially the ability to create something very similar here.
そういう点では川辺先生ね、先ほどのお話ではエッジキャピタル含めていろいろな機能を全部持っていらっしゃいますよね。だから今のようなお話は大体東大のグループの中だけで解決できているでしょうかね。現状はどうなんでしょうか。
必ずしもそうでないと思いますね。先ほどの技術とこの事業化の話っていうこと、これはもう東大なんかでも典型的に起こることなんですけど、一番これは典型的になるのはライフサイエンス系が一番起きるわけですけど、これはもう東大キャピタルもそこに入るかもしれませんが、いわゆるベンチャーキャピタルの世界が今ランドバックさんおっしゃったようにですね、サンドヒルロードに集積してそこに持ってくればエクスポージャーがあれば自然と事業化に結ぶというわけには必ずしもいかないことがあります。例を挙げると特にライフサイエンス系の場合ですとこれは大学発ベンチャーで伊藤先生前に申し上げる場合ですけど大学の教員が結構ベンチャーの事業で直接社長になってるわけでもないのにですねやっぱり研究者として結構偉そうにしてるケースっていっぱいあるんですよ。でその研究者が伊藤先生は全くそのではなくてむしろビジネスをどうやるかということに大変熱心な人だと思うんですけど多くの場合、ここに大学の関係者の方に怒られるかもしれませんがやっぱりベンチャー作ってもですね大学の研究生の円柱線上にあると。したがって毎月ベンチャーキャピタルがお金が入るんですけど1億2億月ごとに使いながらもですねなかなかビジネスの匂いがするようなデータが出てこない。いつまでたっても論文書くようなデータが出てくるというのが起きる。でこれがアメリカですとベンチャーキャピタルがですねこの先生こんなの出したってビジネスの匂いがしないじゃないかということで強制的にこれを方向づけを変えることはできるんですけど日本のベンチャーキャピタルまだそこまでこなれてない。多くのベンチャーキャピタルの我が国の場合はまだ PhD の集まりではなくてむしろ金融界の集まりだというところが日本の大きな課題で幸いですねエッジキャピタルの場合は先ほど申し上げましたようにリードインベストメントなもんですからそのビジネスに対する見方が結構真剣になりますとそうなってきますとこのデータがそのビジネスの匂いをするデータをどう生かして使うかというところにベンチャーキャピタルとしてのモチベーションが効くので私はそのシード段階から入ってある種のマイルストーンアプローチをしながらかなりベンチャーキャピタルが主導するというのが東大エッジキャピタルのやり方として進めてるんじゃないかな。でこれはまだそのサンドヒルロードにあるですねベンチャーキャピタルに比べればまだまだ覚醒の感といいますか随分と違いがあるんじゃないかと思うんですけどそれがすごく重要なことでまだ距離があるように思いますね。
ランドバーグさんにね、もう一度ちょっとお伺いしたいんですけど、私たまたまランドバーグさんがやってらっしゃるそのインキュベーションで H2O でしたっけ、あちらの方の場合はなんか社長さんは外からいらっしゃいましたですよね。あれは学校としては何か働きかけみたいなのやってらっしゃったんですかね。